Hi, I'm Greg, and in this episode, we're going to install an aftermarket backup camera into a 2007 Honda Odyssey. First, I set up the camera and mirror on a table with a spare car battery to make sure it works. I just followed the instructions that came with the camera. Here, I am simulating what happens when the van is put into reverse. As you can see, the video shows instantly on the mirror display. Here is a wiring diagram of how we are going to wire it into the van. The mirror is powered from the fuse box. The camera is powered by tapping into the reverse light bulb. The video wire needs to be run from the back of the van to the front. I started in the back of the van and worked toward the front. This is the first piece to take off. It has 4 of those plastic pop fasteners on it. Then take off the 2 side panels, take out the 2 screws under the handle, and then the entire back panel will just pull right off. Once you have the back panel off, you can see the back of the lights. Here is the back of the reverse light socket. There is a green, white, and a black white wire. The green one is 12 volts and the black one is ground. I followed the wire loom over and found the 2 wires. I'm going to tap into the wires right there. The camera wire will come through the back gate right here. Then I will wire it over to here. Here I am using a couple T-splice connectors, one for each wire. They pierce the insulation when you squeeze them on the wire. Next, I drilled a hole into the back door with a stepless drill bit. I drilled it large enough to feed the barrel connectors of the mirror through the hole one at a time. I then inserted a grommet into the hole so that the sharp metal edge would not cut through the insulation on the wire and short it out. Then I attached the license plate and camera. The camera wire is hardly visible. The camera in this kit has 2 barrel connectors, one for power ground and the other for the video. The kit came with a male barrel connector on a pigtail for the power. I crimped spade terminals onto each end. You can use pliers to crimp the terminals if you don't have a crimper. Then I soldered on the spade terminals to the wire for a reliable connection. I also use waterproof heat shrink. Here is the result. Now the wire from the camera will go to this pigtail to our T-splices. Here it is all tidied up. The cable comes in from here, goes over to our T's, which provide power to the camera. This is the wire that will go up front to the mirror. Now we'll start making our way to the front of the van. I used a fish tape to feed the wire from the top of the door down the door pillar. To get it through the rubber boot, I used a piece of solid core wire like Romex. You could probably use a coat hanger. Just make sure you bend the end over so you don't poke a hole into the boot. I taped the wire to the Romex and pulled it through. Next, I loosened the lower cover and removed the upper pillar panel. Don't forget to remove the bolt behind the SRS airbag cover. I ran the video wire down, attaching it to the existing wire harness with cloth electrical tape. I like using that instead of vinyl electrical tape because it does not leave behind the adhesive residue. In order to pull out the lower panel more, I had to remove the lower panel at the back of the floor first. With that panel removed, I could pull the lower side panel open to feed the wire through above the air conditioning condenser, below the speaker and armrest, attaching it to the wire harness as I go. Then drop down to the floor after the wheel well. I pulled the floor kick plate at the side door and the lower side panel to pull the wire through. In order to do that, I had to remove the seat belt anchor. I continued to tape the video wire to the existing wire harness all the way up to the front. Once I was to the front, I removed the lower cover under the dashboard on the passenger side and continued attaching the wire to the wire harness and passed it through the center console to the driver's side. To remove the OEM mirror, you pull this plastic bezel and then lift the tab and the mirror just slides up and off. So let's put the new mirror on. Just slide it on the OEM tab and tighten the screw. To remove the pillar cover, you pull on the SRS airbag button, then the cover pops off. Then drop the wire down the side to the fuse box. Here is the fuse panel on the driver's side. I'm going to hook it up to the accessory ACC 10 amps, number 32. That circuit is on when the key is on and off when it's off. I use this add-a-fuse adapter cable. Pull out the existing fuse and plug this into its place. Plug the existing fuse on the inner slot and this adds a circuit. So the red line becomes the new power line for our mirror. I'm going to put a 2 amp fuse to protect that power line, which should be more than enough for the mirror. Here is the fuse box with the add-a-fuse installed. The mirror cable has a power and a ground, so we need to connect it up to the ground somewhere. Nearby the fuse box behind the panel is a ground screw. I put a ring lug on the ground wire and attached it to the screw. Here's the result. Everything is tidy and out of the way. Now here's the camera in action. It's a little hard to see in the video. I am putting it into reverse, then park, then reverse, then park. One more thing to note is how to adjust the height angle of the camera once it's installed. There are 2 small screws to either side of the camera. Loosen them a turn or 2 and the camera will swivel. Don't forget to tighten them when you're done. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Consider subscribing for more videos like this in the future.